Nobody's harder on you than you.
Yeah. And he said,
The
give
mirror.
everyone a larger margin of error, including yourself.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I think that I don't believe in what I did. You should be afforded margins of error because I think when people's lives depend on it, you don't get. And I don't believe in your career field that you should get a margin of error.
No, yeah.
I don't think anybody's.
But generally, I think that it's okay to fail to learn. But like, imagine, people talk about like you're talking about selection, right? You want to know about it. Well, the truth is like, I don't believe you should get a second try. And SOCOM, Special Operations Command, doesn't either, right? So we have these soft truths, which are Special Operation Forces soft truths, right? Truths about what we believe. We believe that special operations cannot be mass produced. You know what I mean? Like it's intrinsic to who you are. Like if you're able to do it, and I think it is very important to get it right the first time.
A decision is a decision, whether it was a mistake or not.
Correct. And how you move through those decisions makes you a professional.
Right.
Yeah.
So an amateur makes decisions and then reacts whichever way their emotions carry them. A professional has training and they will guide them through those decisions that are made. I had a guy one time shot GSW. He was on top of a HESCO shooting back, and it went into his jaw and then into his chest, and he fell like 9 feet down and like hit the ground. So a lot of trauma to this guy.
Yeah.
And our doc was treating someone else, and so he's like, "Hey, dude, can you go like look at this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I like run over. We did not realize what it was until like triage the patient. Yeah. So I'm like looking at him, I'm like, "Oh, okay." So no OPAs going in, right? No NPA. And OPA is an oral pharyngeal airway. NPA, nasal pharyngeal airway. It's an artificial airway that you'd create. So you have the March algorithm, right? Massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, all this stuff. And so I need to establish an airway. He's got to breathe. So I immediately am like, I've got to crack this guy. And he's like, yeah, dude, do it. And so I like grab this Benchmade knife, right? Benchmade's got a little butterfly on it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I grab this knife and like put it in his throat. And I can't like it takes a lot of force to break through the trachea. So you've got to like push kind of hard. And he comes up behind me and he like shoves my shoulder. He's like, all right, now put it in. I'm like, okay, cool. So we established an airway, and so now he's breathing. But I'm noticed like uneven rise and fall of the chest, right? Which to me tells me, oh, he's got like the bullet went in there
And
collapsed lung type of thing.
either a punctured lung or he's got air in his pleural space. So imagine inside your pleural space in your chest cavity.
What's pleural space?
It's the space inside of your
Outside of the lungs in the chest?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just that space, that area, the no man's land. Anyways, it's a vacuum. So the way your lungs work is your diaphragm sits like here. Your diaphragm pulls down, and then that inflates the lungs, right? And when your diaphragm goes back in, that deflates the lungs. So imagine if there's a hole. When your diaphragm pulls, the lungs can't inflate and deflate.
It'll just pull air in from the hole.
Pull air in from the hole.
Gotcha.
So you've got to plug the hole, right? So I saw the hole. I plugged the hole, put like a dressing on it. They call them an occlusive dressing.
Yeah.
We used, right? So it's a plastic dressing. That it allows air one way in or one way out and not in. So that way the air can't come in. But if it needs to exit, it can. And then we, but he was still breathing funny. And I was like, oh, I remember this from training. Like he's got a tension pneumothorax, which means that like there's still more, like we need to relieve the pressure that's inside there. Yep. We need to let it out because this dressing isn't doing a good job.
You decompress him?
Yeah. So I needle D him. So in between the second and third mid-clavicular, you're going to take this large needle and you're going to stab it inside. So when you do it, you should hear a hissing noise, right?
Yeah.
Well, I heard a little hissing and I was like, oh, that's good. But now he's starting to freak out. I realized I just induced a tension pneumothorax because I introduced air into it. He had a pneumothorax, which means blood pooled in the pleural space, so you have to stick them lower to allow the blood to drain out. I didn't know this. So this poor guy, I'm like playing doctor on him.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's try this one.
Yeah.
Oops.
And he's like freaking out, right? He's got this tube in his throat, and you know. So that was pretty interesting. That was like you don't get second like.
Yeah.
People die, and so I think like in general we should give people grace. In your profession, I don't believe you are deserve the same amount of grace.